whatever you want to create and bring to this world, it needs to not come from a place of how do I make money from this, but like how do I look at my pain and the trauma that I went through? How am I trying to flip this into a positive and provide a solution to the world? It's all a choice. Like, am I gonna use this to evolve, grow, or self-destruct? Am I gonna have the winner mentality or the victim mentality? You don't realize like how close you are to the life that you want until you make that decision that day. You don't realize like how life can change in an instant. And everything that you worked for like 10 years, whatever, 5 years, it all makes sense in one single moment. Hey guys, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Andre Unlocked, and I'm here at the first official Unlocked Creators podcast. And I'm here with someone, a member and a pillar of Unlocked Creators, someone who's behind all of the systems and automations and everything that makes our business works. And let me introduce you to Paul.
Thank you.
Really happy to have you here,
bro.
And,
I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, like we were talking before this about like how we actually met and that the thing, that little device phone,
crazy.
like,
you know what's the actual crazy part about that? It was the meme post that you put up, not like meme post, but the one with the automation that went wrong. And when the automation like fired like everything and the troll comments came in, that was the reel that I like found you on. And sent that video. And I mean we can show the video if you want to, but it was like a shit ass video. But it was a pretty bad video. But I mean, it's crazy how far.
So basically, long story short, I was kind of like in my own world creating content, like growing on Instagram and like a lone wolf, right? And obviously when things are starting to grow on Instagram, you know, you get thousands of DMs. And this guy like DM'd me basically with a video, right? If I remember correctly, with basically at the time I wanted to start doing live classes and like webinars, and he happened to like touched on that specifically in the video. And there was something about, and we can obviously get into the entire outreach and stuff, but like there was something about you that I really like. I had this feeling of like, okay, this is someone that, you know, I could really work with. And then from there, it was just a conversation of like, let's get on a call. We got on a call, and then basically, rest is history.
I don't know, the energy just vibe, but like for those in the kind of agency space, like outreach is the most treacherous part of everything. Like you're just putting things, like, throwing spaghetti at the wall, just hoping something sticks. And I think that what you said, like with the live class, that kind of set me apart, because I actually took the time to, okay, I didn't just write a paragraph, just nonsense, but I thought, okay, what value do I bring? Like, why do you care? What is, like the famous saying, like, what is in it for me? And I wanted to address that like ASAP. And then the video got created, and you know,
we're here. And it's crazy because like to me, it's still like, this is still kicking in. The fact that right now we're building Unlocked Creators and like we're meeting people from all around the world. Soon we're going to Dubai, like in literally 2 weeks. And it's still kicking in as in it's easy to like get lost, I think, when you're first starting. You know, into like, because you post a video, it gets like 200 views, nobody cares.
Discouraged.
And it's easy to get discouraged and be like, oh, what's gonna come from this?
It's the same with like outreach. I remember. I think it was like actually like 2 days before we actually got in contact. I sent that, like it was a pre-recorded video. I scripted it, recorded it myself with like not flashy edits, but a couple of edits here and there. And I just spammed it to, I don't know, a couple creators. And 2 days before we met, someone said that was the most cringe video I've ever ever seen. And that, it kind of hit me, like I don't care that much. But it's still like, ouch, you know, because that person I kind of looked up to, like, I want to work with him. He's just like, it's bad. And then I was like, is this something for me? Like that, like the thoughts came, like the limiting beliefs, like the entire theme of,
should I even like do this? Should I even like keep trying? And
those kicked in, and I was like, should I not? And then I just kept going. And that's the most important part, like limiting beliefs, you know, they come so often, but it's more how often do you keep on going, like you fall down, how often do you actually stand back up?
Yeah, get back up. And like that's the thing. I feel like, especially with the stuff that we're building, and I saw that myself like firsthand, you're gonna get people that are gonna just hate on you for even like trying to build something, because deep down they're afraid of building that thing like themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, like back to like how we met, I think it was honestly just the energy that mattered more than the skill.
Yeah, and also the thought that went, like, it wasn't just like I'm writing like
yeah
Sergio, please.
yeah like, we can touch on a lot of like we can
oh,
like
that's so funny.
Like this is bad, like on Instagram is bad, like just the amount of people that really don't understand like basic social skills.
Yeah, it's so,
you know what I mean, like
that's like what I tell everybody if they, if I have a friend who also wants to get into the agency space, I'm like, bro, so much effort gets you so far because no one is putting in that effort.
Yeah,
it's actually amazing.
Yeah. And no one wants to truly like provide any like
value, like
any type of value. They're all in it for like, hey, I can do this for you, like let's go. But like what I now to like get into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
Basically what we're doing right now is like you're obviously helping with all of the systems behind like writing amazing emails, all of like the automations with the ManyChat, and we can like kind of unwrap all of that. But what I really, and we can talk about like our failures and lessons as well, you know, because there've been
please, I'm excited to talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, but that, you know, like a lot of people, they're just in it for like they have the paycheck mentality, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna try this for like 1 month, and if it doesn't work, then I'm just gonna stop.
Yeah.
But what I liked about you from the start was the hunger.
Yeah.
And obviously the mindset and stuff, but like that hunger, hunger, because you're 18 and there's a difference of, now I feel old saying this, but like there's a difference of literally a decade between us. But like I see myself in you in terms of that hunger, like, okay, I might not know it all. I might not know if this like 100% works, but I have that hunger and I just want to go get
100%.
it.
Yeah.
Because like like I said, a lot of people are just like, I want to do this, and if it doesn't work in 2 weeks, but it doesn't work like that. And I think with content,
yeah, it's the exact same thing with like, for example, outreach in the agency space.
Yeah.
Like it's not like that was like the first video I've ever recorded.
Like,
for sure. Like I told you, like December 23 I started, and we met August 24. So it was almost an entire year of just doing videos. At first it was like the personal ones, like every person I reached out to, minimum 1,000 people. Everyone got a personalized 1-minute video from me addressing their specific situation, and I got nowhere. And then, you know, you have to pivot, and those, like, some people don't pivot. They just see, oh, I failed, then I failed. You know, there's no like, okay, but I can try this. I can try to make this sound better. I can make the value seem even more like the things that I bring to the table. My offer could be better. Risk management, like risk to you. Like, you had the risk of spending your time with me, like getting on calls, you know, the endless hours of calls we've had, like going over emails in the beginning, you remember?
Yeah.
Like the email automation.
Yeah.
Going over hours and hours of just going emails, looking at the content. I mean, you sacrificed your time for me, and that allowed me to actually grow. So I'm very, very thankful for that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it goes like this, you know, both ways, because like I have this gratitude and like grateful attitude towards you, as in, look, there is someone who like believes in the vision so much, especially now where we're trying to do with Unlocked, is like this global network, get entrepreneurs, creators, founders like together, and just provide opportunities for everyone to grow.
Yeah.
Not only on you know, with their personal brand or content or business wise, like grow in their personal lives as well, because we need connections. Like that's what we need as human. And like, yeah, long story short, like when I saw that like type of belief, I was like, yeah, now I'm in kind of like this role of let's say, you know, the leader, and trying to.
You are the leader. That's
and it's still like kicking in for me, like, because I'm no matter how like arrogant I might seem to the world or whatever, like how self-confident I'm, like really sometimes I have my moments where I'm like, am I good enough to be in this position? Because it cannot happen all so fast with the content, right? Like in February this year, I was at 200 followers.
Yeah.
Now we're at like 140,000 just on Instagram alone.
December 31st, 200K.
Yeah. We called it.
We called it.
But yeah, like it can all happen so fast. But then if your mindset doesn't change, you might already think like, I mean, you might still think, am I like actually good enough for this?
Yeah.
And then so yeah, it's a lot of pressure. But yeah, I really appreciated and I still do like the belief in the vision. And I think as a leader, when you see someone like that, it is your responsibility to help them grow.
Yeah, the Steve Jobs quote that you told me about, but also the thing you touched on about the leadership. Like most people, they might have that, okay, I want to be an entrepreneur, but
Yeah.
I don't want to have a boss in that sense. And that also cuts out the leadership role. They don't want to have someone like a mentor or some sorts. They just want, you know, be themselves, the lone wolf.
Yeah.
But like I'm fully embracing the kind of student role right now because
Yeah.
I'm 18. Like I'm not a master of anything right now. Like I have to
Yeah.
learn, grow, and that's the best thing under someone that has actual experience and is building something
Yeah.
that has an actual future.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, and I'm still kind of like in that role as well. Like, there's never a point because I've been studying the top founders, top entrepreneurs, like most successful people. There's never a point in which they say, okay, enough. Like I know enough.
Yeah.
Because you never know enough, and there's always room for growth. But I think in life you need 3 levels of like 3 connections. You need people that you kind of help, you know, you provide like guidance for.
Yeah.
And then you need people on your level, and then you need mentors for yourself. 100%. So it's like constantly, having this mentality of like I'm a student.
Yeah.
Like
constantly. I wanted to say.
It's like a life hack because like you're trying to, and I'm doing this as like, you know, like we're getting guidance from people that are where we want to be.
Yeah.
Because like why not? It's like but I think it all goes back into this like ego that people have.
Yes.
Like, oh, I know it better. Like, I know it all.
Yeah. And maybe it's the same ego that's like, wait, I failed? No, it can't be. I have to start something new because I don't fail, you know? Maybe it's like that. They don't want to be like that failure, but they don't realize you only fail once you stop. Like, you cannot fail until you actually stop. That's like the Hormozy quote, I think it was. But so many people get like caught up in like, well, what if? Bro, what if?
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to go after it, and then eventually, you know, time compounds and wins are inevitable.
Yeah, and I mean, what's the alternative? Like, it's all about like what you want in life. Like, because we were always having this conversation. Like, there's nothing wrong with college. Like, I dropped out. You're kind of like.
No.
You're not even this like You're not even going. Like,
not even a thought. No.
But it's so funny because like. Usually the most successful people and like the most hungry people to go out and get it are the ones that are willing to go against the wave.
Yeah.
And again, there's nothing wrong with going to college. Like if you want to, you know, if you want to get like a medical degree, you for sure like need college, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you might be able to, but like if you want to be like
Romanian doctor, you know, just bootlegging.
Yeah, bootlegging off of like a Reddit forum. But like if you want to, you know, if you want to like really build a business, if you want to like. We were talking about this today. It's like you in 3 months, you learned more in these 3 months than all of your friends that are going to go to a marketing, business, college. Because that's all, it's just this entire matrix of like, which I've always been against. Like my thesis is that we're here to actually build something to help others, not to just do this like, okay, high school, then just get a job, and then just get a mortgage, and then just this entire
get run
thing.
over by debt. Yeah,
because it's like, what do you want to create? You know what I mean?
And it's also like the thing we talked about today. It's like being like having a stable job is like up here, but if you're an actual entrepreneur, you want to start something your own, you start down here. And the normal people, they just cruise around. They have their paycheck, you know, having their day-to-day, but you start down here and you go up, And as long as you are below that person, you might be tempted, okay, oh, what if I have that life of comfort, you know, always being stressed, always being, you know, always worrying. That's not good on the like mental side. And once you break that, that's where sky's the limit. But until you get there, it's very like the tempting thoughts, like I told you about, like sometimes I have those thoughts like, bro, what if this isn't like for me? What if the comfort is the better life? And I mean, I have to be honest with that. Like sometimes I think like that, and then I just have to rethink. Like, okay, in the long term, what does that get me? And it gets me nowhere. like literally nowhere. Like you just have a life of like sterility, like what is that, like
mediocrity,
stale.
like
it's there's
stale.
nothing, it's no flavor to it. There's no life of substance in that sense. Like I mean, a life worth living always contains some sort of risk, and you just have to go with it.
Yeah, I think definitely like living a life without taking any risk is the riskiest life that you can take.
I love that. Can we quote that? Like Andre 2024?
No, it's not my quote. I think it's
okay.
But it's true, because it's like I've always, ever since I was a kid, I remember I was looking, like literally looking, to my parents, like teachers, and I was like, is this it? Because like I saw people genuinely hate their lives.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, if you're in a situation, let's say, there's all kinds of situations, and like some people are honestly like in bad environments, and it's not necessarily their fault. But I always say that up until one point you have no choice, but then you have every choice in the world, especially now, especially with technology. Like there's no excuse. But my thing is like how can you live a life, like what you said today also is like we only get one life.
Yeah. And it's so,
how can you live it like without?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a simple statement. You only have one life. Yeah, duh. But like, if you really like take a moment to reflect, you only have one shot at something, and being on your deathbed saying, "Okay, I worked 50 years at Amazon in a warehouse," is that, I don't know. That's I mean, might be for some people, comfort, stability. They do something for the greater good, like the economy, the community. But for me, like, I want to go out there, have. I don't know, the risk is the fun as well. You only appreciate it in like the when you reminisce on the past, looking back, you think like, oh, fun times, But in the moment, it sucks. I mean, to be quite honest.
And it's scary. That's the thing. But it's not supposed to be safe, and it's not supposed to be easy, because then everyone would do it.
But that's the fun in it,
That's the fun.
That's the fun when you
that's
look back.
the challenge, and like especially as a man, but like people in general, but especially as a man. Growth only comes from pain. Like take the gym, for example. If you're just looking at the bar, at the weight bar, like you're not gonna grow. You gotta get in there.
I want to start.
You gotta go and suffer. And like the times in my life where I grew the most and the fastest were the times that I had the most pain. I experienced the most pain. The times when I was like really comfortable, really like chill, relaxed. I barely grew. But that's the thing that we're constantly talking about, because like pain and trauma are like huge keywords for us. And it's honestly just, it all comes down to understanding that, okay, I'm gonna go through pain. Like you're gonna go through pain as a human being, right? It's all a choice. Like, am I gonna use this to evolve, grow, or self-destruct? Am I gonna have the winner mentality or the victim mentality? Because it's so, like I said, I'm gonna, look at the camera saying this, like I would have literally all of every excuse in the world to not be here with Paul, with David behind the camera, with Unlock Creators, and I'm genuinely honest, like I would have every excuse, and people that are really close to me know that stuff that I've been through, it could have easily like destroyed me had I let it. But like I choose to, because I realize God is giving me some I get like kind of emotional now, but like God is giving me like some gifts, and I feel like, and I might be wrong because I'm human, but I feel this sense of like responsibility that, okay, you have some gifts that are not yours, and so you've been given this blessing, which all of the people have some type of like, I think,
skill set.
Yeah, some type of like thing that they can add to the world. But again, if you're like, oh, I don't care, I just want to have fun, that's the thing. Like I live my life right now, and sometimes it might get to an extreme, but I'm like, if I don't work, if I don't like build, if I don't try to like help people, I feel like I'm doing God and myself and everyone around me a disservice. You know what I mean?
We all have this. I love this. I think it was Charlie Munger, like the Warren Buffett, his partner. He had a really good quote. We all have this the moral obligation to live life. And if you really think about it, you are here. You can't just, could just leave, but in the sense of living life, you have to do something at least. You can't just be in your room all day. You have to do something, and that is the best part of honestly living in Western civilization as well. I mean, we're so privileged to have these opportunities to actually become whatever we want. Like literally anybody watching right now with a phone has every option in the world to become anything. Dentist, mechanic, content creator. The doors are wide open. And I love what you said, coming back to the growth part, the Hormozy quote on my phone, like growth is stressful, stagnation is stressful, decrease is stressful. The only stress-free life, the only stress-free people are dead people. So keep on living.
Yeah.
And that sums it up perfectly. You know, you just go with it. You know.
But that's the thing. Keep on living. I feel like most people, you know, because I picked you up from the airport today, and like we were looking at like so many like people in the mall now and like crowd and stuff. I love to people watch and just, but like not in a, I guess it sometimes, no, but like sometimes it can be in a judgmental way, like sometimes.
Oh yeah, I get what you mean, yeah.
But I love to just observe, because now I'm into pattern recognition and studying patterns, studying how people work, like understanding what type of fears they have, all of this. And I get the feeling that everyone nowadays is so distracted and they are barely living, like actually living.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, when is the last time you genuinely like felt alive? Like, that's the question I would ask everyone. It's like, when's the last time you actually felt like you're living fully?
Yeah.
Like, was it when you were comfortable? Was it when you were stressed out? Was it when you were working? Was it when you were taking some risk with an investment on a business? Like, or are you just like distracting yourself?
Yeah.
And are you trying to escape into something?
Yeah,
I feel like
but that also comes back to like trauma and everything. Like that was a big theme of our conversations all day.
Yeah.
Like, how do people treat trauma? For example, some people, like the story with the alcoholic dad. Like the one dad that had two sons. One son saw him and was like, "Oh, my dad always drank, so I fell into it."
Yeah.
And the other one is like, "Yeah, I was disgusted by it, and I could never do that." And that is like either you have so much trauma that it eats you up, or it is exactly the fuel you need to kind of break out of that and start something new. It's also like what we said with like the calls and everything. Like some people have that like, I need to get out. Like I need to make something work. And yeah, I think you summed it up perfectly.
Yeah, and trauma is the biggest fuel, like pain and some type of trauma, like whether that's I never had money as a kid. I was never the cool kid. I was never like, my dad did this, my mom did this, I had a heartbreak, I lost friends, whatever. That's the strongest fuel.
Yeah.
You know, for growth.
Yeah.
Because usually people that are just comfortable living like you know, really chill lives, they don't have that desire and that like momentum for growth.
Yeah.
And again, going back to the content, and I think whatever problem you want to solve in this world, whatever business you want to like, and now we're talking about people that actually want to create stuff. Whatever you want to create and bring to this world, it needs to not come from a place of how do I make money from this, but like, how do I look at my pain and the trauma that I went through, and how am I trying to flip this into a positive and provide a solution to the world.
100%.
I used to do music before. Literally like the most, and I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm having those moments which are more sincere and vulnerable with the content, because now I'm 100% myself. Like if I want to put something on my Instagram story, I could just, you know, write that.
Yeah.
But like with the music, I literally, like, I took whatever bad experience I had, the sadness, the loneliness, whatever, and I made songs that would help others kind of like relate to that and get out of that, or just vibe to it. I don't know, but it all starts from understanding that trauma in and of itself can be a blessing.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, I think, especially victims, they look at trauma like their entire fate. Like, I had this as a kid, then that means I'm gonna have this forever.
Yeah.
But you always have a choice. Like, that's what I feel like. You always have a choice.
And I think the biggest component next to the trauma is actually the connections with people that you have. Because, for example, you might have that trauma, but if you have that good people around you, that might not cancel it out, but make you push it into the right direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, for example, if we sit here and I tell you, about the webinar that failed on quote unquote.
Yeah,
like
let's now touch on that. Yeah.
Like in my eyes, for some people that have been following for quite some time now, we did a webinar like September, was it? I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And we were expecting like, I don't know, hundreds of people, sales left and right,
Yeah.
But at the end, I think 20 people, 17 people showed up and no sales at all, or no calls even booked. And I'm sitting like spectating you giving the presentation, by the way, fire presentation.
Yeah.
But I was like, what went wrong? What happened? But immediately after that, you were like, nah, let's keep on going. We're gonna keep crushing this. So these connections like help take that maybe failure, even like that misstep, but guide it into like a good direction. Actually make it fuel. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Like, but they change your perspective ultimately, and they provide you with like a new perspective in a sense that take this quote unquote failure and realize it's just a stepping stone to achieving what we want to achieve.
Yeah.
And it's also like taking you out of your own head, which you're also like doing for me in this relationship, this like partnership that we have, as in sometimes I might be there creating content, whatever, and I'm stuck, and I might not see the sort of like the lights at the end of the tunnel in terms of like, okay, we should do this, but then you're coming in and you're stepping in and then you're getting me out of my own head. So I think if you genuinely want to build something great, and I've learned this the hardest way, you cannot do it alone.
No.
Like you cannot do it alone.
Absolutely
like to anyone watching, like if you guys are, if you guys really want to like create something, build a business, whatever, realize that ego that you have with like, oh, I know it all, or like I don't trust people, like I don't want anyone to get close, which I'm speaking from experience. Realize that that's only holding you back. And the minute you open up to people and letting people in, and I'm not saying you got to be best friends with everyone. I'm just saying that you need to realize that there are people out there in this world which you can connect with, especially through content, that have the same mindset, the same hunger as you, and you can build together.
Yeah.
And it's a honestly, it's a beautiful journey, but like it's filled with lessons. Because for example, this live masterclass, again, it takes so much as a content creator to like work, because in my case, for example, I do the design, I might do obviously the entire flow of the presentation, whatever, we go through it like together. I'm delivering the presentation, but then I'm again limiting beliefs. I'm dealing with the questions in my head, like, is this even
worth?
Yeah, like, am I even worth listening to?
Yeah.
Like, am I even like, what am I doing? And again, if you don't have a strong network that really supports you, you might go into that extreme, even at like 500,000 followers. You might tell yourself, I'm not good enough.
100%.
Because the number one reason why people don't start or get stuck is that they think along the way, okay, something happened and I'm not good enough to speak about stuff. But like I always tell people, especially with the coaching that we're doing, it's like literally take your life, again, the pain, trauma that you've been through, whatever that is. Because when I say pain, I don't mean just physical or emotional pain. It can be financial pain. Take the lessons from that you learned and just talk about your life. Like stop trying to, with AI, like so many people right now, it's like AI is so cool.
Motivation pages and stuff.
Let me do a theme page of like, no, like why? I don't know.
You have this gold right in front of you and you're just like, nah, I need random clips from like a clip package that every other page has.
Yeah, and that's the thing. What truly separates you from others? And the number one quote that I have in my mind, and we're constantly repeating it, is this like from, can't remember exactly the book. It might be The Science of Getting Rich. But this is like short quote, create, don't compete.
Yeah.
So when you're in that mindset of like just creating your own lane, putting your own story out there, being unique and just sharing your lessons, being vulnerable, you don't worry about like, oh, this guy has this many followers, like this guy posted this. You're just focused on what you're doing.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, they're obsessed with what others are doing. They're not focused on themselves. Because I think that, and correct me if I'm wrong or give me like your take on this, but like it might be because people don't truly view themselves as the hero in their own story.
Not like worthy of being shared.
Like self-sabotage and all of that. Like
yes, I think that's a lot of people are in their head, like, and maybe it's also other fears like, do I look good enough? Am I photogenic or something? But what you said about putting yourself out there, I think, like I said, you have this goal in front of you and you're just not using it. Like that is the exact reason why people want to listen to you. Like we said in the beginning, it is so easy to be better than 99%. And I know everybody says this, but it's so true. Like, please look in the DMs that we get. It's so easy to have a good personal page. Just be yourself. There's so many people that just theme page, or they half-heartedly just start something, but yes, just put yourself out there, stick with it, set yourself a goal, a timeline, whatever, stick with it, analyze the lessons, the mistakes, everything, and you will grow. Literally. And that is, bro, the best story. Like 200 at February, and now we're closing the year with 200K, bro. That is a 100KX? No, 10KX, I think.
Yeah, 10KX, right?
That is crazy. 10KX, bro.
And it's just, that's the thing. It's just the beginning, and I'm even saying this now. It's like I'm only at like 5% of what I truly am, because I still have limitations. I still I don't, I might want to say something, and even right now, like I'm genuinely trying in this moment to just be grounded and be here and genuinely speak about the stuff that I believe in without worrying about like is this the perfect thing, is this but it all comes from fear, because ever since we are young, we're by our parents, by the school, we're taught that okay, if you do this then you fail.
Like in school, you only have one right answer, and that is so wrong.
That's so wrong for life,
bro. I mean, best example, you're in math class, you have like this, I don't know, equation, but you solve it a different way, you still don't get the grade because you solved it another way. Yeah. And that is such a wrong thinking of, you have this life and there's only one right answer, one wrong turn, you're done. That is so wrong.
It doesn't work like that in life.
It does not work like that.
It doesn't work. And again, it's fundamentally, are you living through like love or fear? Because love is like courage, love is the the willingness to grow, because that's the thing, growth is super scary.
Yes,
like it's uncomfortable, you're gonna lose people. I dealt with that, and we're all dealing with that. You're kind of dealing with that as well. It's like people looking at you being like, what do you do? Like, why
are you in Romania?
Yeah, why are you in Romania right now? Which is like a good question. Why are you actually here? You could have just been home.
Yeah.
You could have just played on your PS5, where you could just chill.
Uni, you're just studying something that...
Why try to go against the wave?
Yeah.
But I genuinely think there are some people, obviously I think all of us here, that they cannot live life like that. They just cannot, no matter what we try. I know I tried it.
Yeah.
You were talking about Amazon. I worked in the Amazon warehouse. I worked as a freelancer. I worked a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I built businesses that kind of for a while kept me trapped. There's no possible way for me to conform and for me to be like, okay, I'm just going to do what other people are telling me. And I'm just going to shut up, and I'm not going to use my gifts. Having that complacency, I either have the curiosity of growth or the complacency of falling. That's what I'm saying nowadays. And that's it. I mean, but again, it all comes down to, do you understand that you only have one life? Do you understand that life is like a loading bar and it's going up?
And I think most people, that is the exact trap. Like, people, they're in school, with friends, and then you go to uni, and then everything's still fun, and then boom, you're in a job that you might have never had a job before. Like, for example, I worked in a restaurant, every position that you can think of. I was a waiter at some point. I hated being a waiter. I hated that job, just being catcalled like, hey, come here, something like that.
Yeah.
I hated that. Then I was in the kitchen, cleaning dishes, just wiping those things down, being elbow deep in the toilet, scrubbing that. I hated that.
Yeah.
And it's such a blessing to have this creative job right now. Like, in school, I used to be like, yeah, creative jobs, art, that's a fantasy. But now I feel super blessed for getting to wake up, go to, I don't know, a coffee shop or something, sit down, put some music in, and write a fire email that people read the emails. Like, that is the biggest validation. Like, actually having people also respond to the emails, hey, this is so good. Those are the things that actually light me up and that make me go even more, that kind of give that confirmation, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like the money in the bank, you know? It's not like we're multi-trillionaires right now.
Yeah, yet.
But, yeah, yet.
Yeah.
But like the just the process, the little steps, the little appreciations, those are the things that actually make you want to keep on going.
Yeah. And in terms of, because like we were talking about emails, before me doing, and we can kind of like get into the nitty gritty, before me going into obviously like improving the content and getting it to that point, to this point now, I used to write like random emails here and there. I had like so many different lead magnets and it was all chaotic. And then you came in, and obviously along the way in these only like what, 3 months, we've improved so much. And right now we're basically our only lead magnet is like the newsletter, which is super valuable. So if you guys, we're gonna drop the link somewhere in the description or on the video. But what would you say, like how important is, from your perspective, having a really fleshed out newsletter with emails that generally provide value to your people, in you know, balancing that with the content, with the actual videos?
I think it's super valuable for you as a creator, because those are the warmest leads that you get. Like those are people that actually interact with you, that actually take that step forward. And those that even read are even warmer. Those that reply are the hottest. So you have their email, you know they use the email, it's not like a spam or something, and you can just text them right there and there, you know? Ask them a question in the email and respond to their answers. And that is super valuable, especially for people that have like a high ticket or, you know, mid ticket. Low ticket might be more difficult to have like a newsletter and actually drive people to the low ticket, but always depending on the low ticket itself. Like the Podia, under the Gumroad, you say.
Yeah, the Gumroad.
You said having that funnel to the freebies, to the little things, that might be a good thing. But if you have that cultivated, you know, community of people, that is the most valuable thing that I think you can have as a creator.
Yeah, and we're at right now with what, like, to go into the numbers specifically, we don't have like a huge newsletter. I think we're keeping it right now because
we're always curating it as well.
Yeah, always curating. So basically, when you're building a newsletter, make sure you identify the people that haven't really engaged, that haven't really opened. You can do that. We're using Kit, basically.
Like every copywriter, please use Kit. It is an amazing platform.
It's you're not gonna love it as a designer, but you know, like
please go into that story. Please.
Okay, should I?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so
it's like the clear-cut version.
Basically, one flaw and one curse and like blessing for me is that I'm obsessed with the small details. Like I'm so obsessed that if, for example, we would have like a cigar night in here and like we would chill. If something like it was on my brain, I could just not stop. Like I could not enjoy the cigar night until I finished that particular thing. Right. So with the emails, if you look at it just as a small segue, every single small detail out of your product or newsletter or content or whatever you're building goes into the branding. So branding is not the colors, it's not the fonts. Branding is the feeling and the experience that your customers, your people get, right, when they interact with you. So saying that, I had this like thought, right, like with the emails that we're sending, we gotta like, now that we have Unlock Creators and we're building all of this, we gotta have like a template so the emails look, you know, really like professional and it's all on brand, right? Because again, it goes into the branding. So, yours truly here, like became obsessed, right? For like what, 1 week?
I think
with like just some, you know, trying out different templates, and nothing was like I never really, you know, it took me like a long time. It took me like 1 week to get to where I wanted to get to. But basically, when we got there, because okay, let's touch on another like insight, like story, like a failure. I finally fleshed out the template. We got it with the logo, Unlock Creators, boom, boom, boom. We can probably put it up on the screen. And you wrote an amazing email that was at like 95% there, something like that. And we spent like 2 hours together brainstorming, working on like some small fleshing out, you know what I mean? Some small details. And mind you, this was after like 1 week of me just literally being obsessed with that, with the template, getting everything right. And I was like, okay, cool. And then basically, long story short, we did the email, we updated it, all good, or at least I thought it was all good. I'm gonna be honest, I forgot to like, I exited the tab before it saved, right? And so then I told you, like, you do the honors, you push the like send button, and it sent out like the older email, which was at like 95%. Now, I got really pissed because, but not on at yourself, at you, like I got pissed at the situation that we spent so much and then we had that conversation, and this is the lesson in the story. When you deliver something, no matter what situation you're in, try to deliver that product at 100%. Like try to put out your best.
That's the standard.
Yeah, that's the standard. The standard should be 100%, no less.
Yeah.
And I think for me right now, as a leader, as a content creator, I have to keep that standard for the people, for you guys, for everyone. And I, first and foremost, I got to keep that standard for myself. And the fact that you kind of like understood that and you weren't like super defensive, that now allows us to move on from that and like just treat every single thing that we're doing and like, okay, this is the 100. Is this the best thing that we can deliver now? Okay, cool. We're putting it out. Now I'm not saying you can always improve on stuff, but there were so many like small situations in which I understood that, okay, this wasn't the best approach, but it's fine. I'm not judgmental. We can take that and we can learn. We can go forward. So yeah.
And I actually love that story because what happened on my end, because when you sent me like, oh, we messed up, I was like, no. Like,
no
I was
way.
instantly on me because I pushed the send, like, what happened?
Yeah.
And then you were telling me like, we sent out the wrong email. And then I was like, yeah, the open rate is kind of fine. And then you were like, no, it's not fine.
Yeah, it's not fine.
And in that moment, like, I thought, like, to be fully transparent, I thought you were like attacking me a little.
Yeah.
And having that, the growth being stressful, having to take that in because I knew in that moment, yes, it was my fault because I could have checked the email, I could have double saved, sent in demo, I could have done things to like get rid of the mistake.
Yeah.
But I didn't. So in that moment, I sucked it up for a second and I was like, okay, you messed up. Just take it. Be like, okay, I messed up. I'm sorry. Next time won't happen again. And that part, that was like in the beginning, it was like, I don't know, that like admitting that it was like,
this is the ego.
Yeah, it was the ego.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with growth. You have to let that go, And I mean, in the end, we found the resolution. We used the same part in like another email. Even more fire email, the wrong email that we send out, like not to be like, 95% is still good, but it had like 43% open rate or something, so still pretty good. But I think if we should have done that one thing, it would have been.
But like even now, we're still learning. But the thing is, we're now super like we're careful with these like small details, and we really put the passion into that because. If you guys read something from us, if you see a video, we got to make sure that in that particular moment, that's the best version that we can deliver. Because otherwise, again, we're feeling like we're not doing our jobs like properly. But yeah, the ego blocks us like a lot from growing. And I've realized that it's also like as a creator, as an entrepreneur, as a leader, you always have to focus on solutions more than you focus on problems.
Yes.
So I could have been like, you did this or I did this. This didn't work for like 5 days. But what's the solution? How do we improve? How do we actually grow?
What's the next step? Like we talked about this in the cafe today. Like too many people get like stuck up in the past. Like, oh, we should have done this. Oh, we should have done this. But okay, it happened. You can't change the past. You can't go back. What is the next step? Like. How can you use that, again, using the lessons that you learn, how can you use that to actually make an improvement on the next step? And you only get that when you actually put out 100% every time and actually take the time. I think most people don't even take the time to put in 100% because they're like, yeah, it's fine, it's good enough,
Yeah.
But that shouldn't be, that's not how you grow. So
it's all like about the standards that you have for yourself and then for your content, whatever you're creating. But a lot of people, again, they get complacent because at the end of the day, they just think about themselves.
Yeah.
Especially with like content. You have to make content for yourself, let's be clear. Like you got to do it for you. But at the same time, you got to do it to actually help people and not only have that like selfishness in terms of like, okay, if I like it, then I don't care about the feedback. You should care, especially if you have a team.
Yeah.
Because I might do something that I think is really cool, but then if you would tell me, I don't really know about that part, then that makes me think like what you said also about the video that we put out on YouTube, like the $1 million branding advice. You were like, okay, I don't know about the music.
Yeah.
It sounds off to me. That signals to me that, okay, I might, the thing with me is like, I'm aware that I might not always be right, and that's fine. Like, because at the end of the day, I just want to grow. So when you want to grow as a human, you're willing to listen. You're willing to just, because at every single point of the journey, there are going to be people who give you all sorts of feedback, but you have to be willing to listen so that you can make like small changes when you do have to do that, so you can grow like faster. Because that's, again, if my number one selfish in a way interest is to grow, is to become the best version of myself, and if you come along saying, okay, you could improve this, you could improve, how am I not going to listen?
Yeah, but it's also like what we said about in the car. Who do you take advice from? Who are you listening to? Because that's also something we have at the bottom of our email, for those that know, helping you find clarity in a world full of noise.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people, you know, having their own say in like the online space. You're just being bombarded with information from all sorts of people. But which one of those people is living a life that you want to live? You know, is that someone you can take advice from? You have to you have to curate that kind of space around you. Like the people you listen to, for example, Hormozy. That is a life I would trade for. So what is he saying? What is he doing that I'm not doing? We got the same 24 hours.
Yeah.
He's doing something that I'm not. So how can I learn from him?
Yeah.
But then if, for example, my dad tells me, no, you have to go to uni. Nobody at uni is living a life that I want to live. So why should I do that? You know?
Yeah, and it was the same for me. When I dropped out of college, I went for 2 years, I dropped out. And when my parents found out, remember I was telling you the story, like everyone in my family was like, no, you're just going to be a failure. And I just sat there and I had the courage to be like, no, you guys are wrong.
That is such a pivotal moment, I think, in your life, because
it was the best,
having that backbone to be like, no, you're wrong.
It was, there were some key moments in my life where I felt like the hardest choice is the right one.
Oh, yes.
It usually is.
Or the one with the most resistance, like, maybe I don't want to, that's when you do
feel the most friction, like that's usually, because when it's super easy, then, But like, that was the number one thing. And the number one decision that made me, that kind of like changed the entire course of my life. Because I could have, I realized, and this exercise from this book, I forget the book, but like, Designing Your Life, something like that. You take the moment that you are right now in your life and you look like 5 years ahead of you, thinking, okay, 5 years from now, how is my life going to look if I just keep doing the same thing? Now, at the same time, you do the same exercise, asking yourself 5 years from now, how is my life going to look if I do completely different things? How am I, like if I would break all of my limiting beliefs? So that was a pivotal moment in a sense that I looked at like, I was just looking at other people in college, bro, and they were like all complaining, stuck. Like the trajectory, the path was clear. And I was like, this is not my life. This is not my life. And I'm genuinely scared of not having the courage to do that, to drop out. So I was like,
screw it.
Yeah, screw it. Like I'm just gonna go for it. And it was the best decision. It was the best decision because it did put me in a spot where there was so much pressure. Because when you're going against the wave, this matrix, these rules, there is so much, even from your loved ones, like from your mom, like she tells you, you got to do this, you got to do that. And then you're going against the wave without knowing if you're actually going to make it. And so that's a pain most people are not willing to go through. But if you're not taking any kind of risks, you're going to work for people that take the risk. That are taking the risk, that have taken the risks. That's just the rule of life. And also, like, one big thing that we were talking about is like the ability to change fast. So the ability to identify, okay, this is where I'm going wrong. I'm self-regulating and I'm adapting and I'm changing. And as David said at dinner, like, what you don't change, you choose. So a lot of people are self-made, but only like the successful ones are gonna be like, yeah, you know. But the losers, because if you're not a winner, you're a loser. Like, and when I say winner,
of things.
to clear this thing out, like, it's like, not everyone needs to have like a business, or not everyone needs to do content. Whatever you genuinely want in your life. If you want to just flip burgers and that's like you're super passionate about your burgers, that's fine.
But you can be so successful, like everything.
You can be so, and with content, you have the phone. Like
there's always a way to be the best at whatever you're doing, and that is the one thing you should strive for. Like what you said, everybody. I'm a believer in this too. Everybody has something. Maybe they're made for, like, in this life. And I think we all have this one passion that we look at like, wow, like if I wouldn't be doing this, I would be miserable. And some people are miserable because maybe they blocked that out, maybe they didn't have the courage, because that is something I applaud you for, like being that young and having that courage to be like, no, you're all wrong. Like literally, you were all wrong. And that's basically what made you to the leader that you are now. Like I told you in the core, like the person that is actually making, or the person that you actually want to be, is made before you actually have the life that you want.
Yeah.
So that person kind of creates that life, but you need to be that person before it actually happens. Like the money is a lagging indicator.
Yeah, and you have to have the delusion of confidence.
Yes.
Because you have the choice of programming yourself with like either the delusion of confidence or delusion of scarcity, of the like the fear. Why not have the delusion of abundance of confidence? Why not tell yourself, I'm amazing, I'm amazing. Even look, I have a lot of moments when I don't think I'm amazing. But I just remind myself, no, I'm amazing. Why? Because I want to reprogram my entire mindset, my entire mind, to be like, yes, you can do anything. Because it's almost like that saying, like, fake it till you make it. But I would change it and say, become it till you make it. You know what I mean? Like, become it, like embody. We're talking about supercars, right? And we're gonna soon like drive supercars, do all of that. But I have to look at the version of Andre that is doing that. What is he doing? Like, what habits does he have? Like, the lifestyle, not necessarily like just the business, but like, how does he live life? And I have to identify that, embody that, and then by universal law, by, like that's the thing. People are inputting something like really small and they're expecting an output that is super big. And it's like a farmer working the fields for like 2 days and expecting the crops to be like instantly like come and for like, you have to work the fields, and then you're going to be able to harvest, but like after months and months and even sometimes years. And unfortunately, we're programmed with this thing of like, work now, study now, you're going to get the grades. Go to the job, at the end of the week or month, you get the paycheck. But that doesn't work if you actually want to build something. Like, it does not work. And it's so much, I'm realizing now, there's so much reprogramming that we have to do ourselves.
And I don't get like people that actively down talk themselves. Like people that are in that kind of, I don't know, pit of self-pity, something like, let's be real. What do negative thoughts really do for you? They don't serve you, so why embody them? Or why keep them, They're not serving you. I mean, positive thoughts may also not be serving you, but they're definitely better than negative thoughts. So why even have, or why hold on to them? Why, like, push them onto yourself?
But why do you think that is? Why do you think people only tend to cling to the negative stuff instead of clinging onto the positives?
I think it's the victim mentality. Like, pushing off the responsibility. Like, it's not my fault. I'm the special snowflake. I'm the special snowflake. It's their fault. It's the world's fault. They made me into the person I am today. I had no say in this. Because that's the thing with people. They support you. Like, again, when people are up here and you're down here trying to make it, they will still like encourage you, like, yeah, keep on going. But as soon as you go above them, they'll be like, oh, Mr. Big Shot, you know, Mr. Have It All now.
You think you're better than us?
Yeah, because they know they were above you or at the same level as you, but you rose above them. You took action. You took that risk, and I don't know, they project that, I don't know, insecurity onto you. Like, oh, look at you, you know, being all fancy and that stuff. So I think that is mostly it. Like that, yeah, that victim mentality. Like, it's not my fault. Like, I did nothing wrong. You know.
Yeah.
I think it's something primitive as well. Like back when you were hunting, you know, it's not my fault the deer got away, you know, it was the weather or something.
Just excuses, yeah.
Because you didn't want to disappoint the tribe, you know, because it was your responsibility, but you couldn't serve them. So you had to come up with like some reason. Yeah, I didn't fail, but it was this and this. Maybe something like that. But I could be off. Like, this is just...
No, but you're right. I think also to add to that, I think the reason why people cling on to negative emotions and thoughts so much is that here's a hot take, is that the positive stuff is more popular, is everywhere. The negative is not everywhere. But think about it, like when you have $10, right? If you lose $1, what are you going to focus on? The $9 left or the $1 that you lost?
The $1.
So it's like you're not going to focus on so many different positive things that are going on in your life. Even the homeless dude, he can be grateful for some things.
Yeah.
He still gets to wake up another day.
Yeah.
He still can, you know, get some money, get a hot coffee, whatever. Small things.
Yeah.
And I gave that example on purpose because it's extreme. But even the homeless dude, like, he might not be aware of it, but there are a lot of positives.
Yeah.
And we can dive into like topic of talking about God and all of that, but like we tend to focus on the negatives because those to us, like, you know, when you're getting like 5,000 comments, positive ones, you get 20 bad ones, you just focus on the bad ones.
Yeah.
We tend to focus on those because deep down we're living in fear and we're not grateful. Because I might be wrong, I don't want to, but like I think it was pretty much Jesus that said you cannot be grateful and anxious at the same time.
True. No, you can't be. Was it? You can't be anxious and what did you say? Thankful?
Grateful.
Grateful. Yeah.
So you cannot truly. And so I tell this to myself because I had like the other night. I had this like moment when I was like so anxious and like so stressed out, and I was like, let me try to be grateful. Yeah. And then I started talking to myself. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for what we're building, for you, for David, for everything that's going on. I'm grateful for the fact that we're going to Dubai. We just flew to London. We're in
Romania right now.
Yeah, we're filming the pod. Like, I'm grateful for all of this. And then I noticed that anxiety and that fear of that, it all went away. But when you're in that state of like negativity and fear and you're not grateful at all, you're just going to cling on to the negative stuff. And like you said, what if you're just, holding on to the negative stuff, what is that going to do for you in the long run?
Yeah.
How is that going to serve you? Yeah. And at the end of the day, if you listen to only the negative voices, you're not believing truly, you're not walking with God. You're not, because that's another thing, like walk by faith, not by sight. And a lot of people,
that's why getting goosebumps actually, bro. That is so, like, I think that is actually the best exercise for every human on this planet. Like, sit down, not even like anything long. You don't have to write everything down. Just before going to bed, say what you're grateful for. Like, I used to do this. Like, I'm grateful for the photons hitting my retina or whatever the eye is called. For seeing things. Some people don't enjoy colors or sight at all. Like, this is a privilege that I can see the sunset, for example. It is such a privilege, the oxygen that I can breathe. Yeah. Some people with asthma, they have trouble breathing. They have agony breathing. Like, I am so grateful for being in the position, the upbringing that I had. Like, I think, I honestly think I am the most blessed person ever. Like, in my perspective, like, I have the best life. And it comes with the pain, it comes with the struggle, it comes with the negative thoughts of maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I should stop or something. But again, it's those things that you look back on, like, I went through that and I did it, I pushed through, I persevered, I showed personal growth, strength. And that is the most valuable thing in life, probably, like growth.
But that's the thing, like we are blessed because the reality is most of the time, if not all of the time, like we don't deserve the gifts that we've been given, and the fact that we have that grace from God and we have those blessings, like how can you not be grateful for that?
Yes.
And there are people in this life that, you know, this is like mindset. If I, you know, God forbid, if I lose one of my arms, then I could say, oh, I lost an arm and just complain about that. Or I could say, I still have the other arm, right? I know this is easy to say.
I'm lucky it only got my arm, you know?
Yeah. This is easy to say right now, but that's kind of like the mental model of like, I'm grateful for, am I like maybe I'm not the most lucky or whatever, but you are lucky. And that's the thing, like focusing on the positives will allow you even in business. Because it's like what we're doing right now. Okay, we're launching this offer, we're doing this. It might not work the way we want it to work, but if we just focus on the problems and not the solutions, not the positives, not the growth that is clearly there, we're just gonna, it's really tough to run the you know, go the long distance, because this like content and business in general is a marathon, not a sprint. And 100%. A lot of people, they sprint. That's why I see a lot of people get burnt out. They sprint for like 2 months. And then they're like, nothing is really working.
Yeah.
What is happening? Oh, I'm just going to stop
putting
this.
all this effort, like all the night, you know.
And you remember that story when I told you it was like 7 days, right? Like 7 days before I took off.
Oh, yeah. That is so powerful.
There was like 7 days. I had been posting for like, I don't know, 4 months or something like that. And nothing was really popping. You know, it was rough. And it got to one point where I just had this moment. I was like, you know, I should maybe stop this. But something in me was like, remember the trauma and the mental breakdown that you had like last year in Dubai? This is why Dubai is going to be such
Why did you start?
Yeah, like why did you remember the why? And so I did, and I was like, okay, let me keep going. And so I did, and after like literally 7 days, one video took off. I went from 200 to 10K.
Powerful.
10K to whatever, 20K. That took a bit longer. 20K to 30K. And then, but that's how you're always one video away from achieving
one
like,
day. Just one more day.
One more day. Take it day by day and like try to improve that like atomic habits, right? Like 1% every day. But if you're going to compete, because we were talking about previously, like create, don't compete. Don't compete against anyone else. Compete against who you used to be yesterday.
Powerful.
Like it's compete to, am I now, even in a slightly way, like, am I better than who I was and what I did like yesterday? And if yes, cool. If not, cool. Because then you still, by the grace of God, you still get another day.
Yeah. 100%.
I
think it's exactly that why most people stop, because it's like, or not why most people stop, but it's why most people succeed that actually stick with it. Because every day people stop. Like every day, like right now, this second, someone gave up.
Yeah.
And there's another guy that didn't give up. And he's still going.
He's still going.
And those are the people. And the guy that didn't give up now, he might give up tomorrow. I don't know.
Yeah.
But those that never give up, that keep on going. With every day, you eliminate the competition, basically. The ones that were not made for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
They just don't have what it takes.
They don't have what it takes. Like, those every day, you're getting rid of people. You're getting better and better. It's like a global chart, and you're like person 100,000. But every day you move up. Every day you move up. Every second you move up. Every hour you move up. And at some day you're at the 1% mark.
Yeah, and it's really crazy because you don't realize like how close you are to the life that you want until you actually until you make that decision that day. Let's say it's a video. Let's say it's a business opportunity. There's a meeting. Take a flight. You don't realize like how life can change in an instant. And everything that you work for like 10 years, whatever, 5 years, it all makes sense in one single moment, day. So what I noticed with a lot of people is that while they do want to build something, they do, like they might have this idea. Like, I want to reach that goal. I want to build that business. I want to grow my audience. I want to travel. I want to do all of this. They have kind of like let's say the vision. the picture, but somewhere along the way, they lose the why, and they don't go back to that drawing board, that vision board. And for me, the biggest lesson this year was being able to visualize the life that you really want to live. Like a lot of people,
why, like literally have that.
And like a lot of people ask me, even like basic stuff, like surface level stuff, like what took for you, like how did you like get your style in terms of like dressing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, because I look at myself as this character almost, like, okay, this is like how he dresses, this is like the type of perfume he uses, the way he speaks, and then you could go deeper, the way he, you know, gets out of the car, the way he talks to people, the way he creates content, the way he provides the lessons.
Yeah.
And then you flesh that out, and that's the vision. That's the where he go, like the places he goes. So the more specific you are with the vision, then the better, because along the way you will get lost, but then you can go back to that.
Yeah.
And so what I've seen is that yes, some people have the goals, but they're not taking their time to actually be super specific, because seek and you shall find, and like where there is no vision, people perish. So if you don't have any vision and you're just like going, you're like what we're getting now, right? Like a lot of people, oh, I want 100,000 followers. And I'm like, why? Why do you want one? Like, I want to make 50K a month. Why?
Yeah.
Like, what's the why?
And I think,
or are you just saying these things because, you know?
Yeah, because you have that, I don't know, narrative, you know, oh,
yeah,
18-year-olds making
cool
100K. Yeah. But I think that is the exact thing that people can do to become that expert in their niche. Define that why, because that's going to carry you so much further than any other like strategy, basically. Like, define the why. Why do you put up the camera? Why do you press record? What are you trying to achieve? Like, for me right now, if I can get one person to actually stick to doing one more day, like if it's outreach, if it's I don't know, posting content, if I can just get one person to keep on going, I think I've done a full success here. And that is my why. Like, get people to actually trust in the process in that sense.
And trust in themselves.
Yes.
Like in the middle of, because the world teaches you to not trust yourself at all. The world tells you, don't be confident, don't believe in your dreams, don't work hard, because then you're missing out on the pleasures, on the distractions. But ultimately, whatever you want to do in this life, whether that's content, growing a business, an e-com store, writing a book, whatever it is, even like a job, if you don't believe in yourself, if you are not the number one fan of you, who else is going to be that? Who else is going to be that for you? And to try to like wrap this up, I would say the biggest thing that all of us are learning this year is to dare to dream big and dare to like have that ambition and desire for growth, without clinging on to the fear of what if this doesn't work. Because if we do fail, we're failing in the search for greatness, and that's the best.
And that's literally the quote over dinner. The one quote, I think Michelangelo was it.
Yeah.
Do you remember like the?
Like the problem is that the problem is not that most people are aiming high and they miss. The problem is they're aiming too low and they hit it. They hit the
and
target.
That is exactly what you just said. People don't dare to dream big. They don't, because if you dream big and you nearly miss it, you went so much further than, I don't know.
And you get to push yourself.
Yeah. Imagine you became complacent at 50,000 followers. Like, your goal was at the end of the year, 50K minimum.
Yeah.
If you would have stopped there, like maybe took a break, took a breather, you know, chilled a bit, where would have you been now?
Yeah.
You wouldn't be at almost 200K, you know? And that's the exact thing. Like, okay, maybe the goal was too low, but then it shifted. Like, boom, 200K in, I don't know, 2 months. That was the time frame. 100,000 followers additionally in 2 months. That is a task, bro. That is a task.
Yeah, but you know what the thing is? It's not even about the numbers. It's about like your desire of just improving.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, you get to 200K, boom, but then what? You need 300, 400, 500. But it's not about the numbers, because I said this from the beginning. Like, I'm the same person I was when I had like 10 followers. Like, the mindset hasn't changed. If anything, it has improved.
Yeah.
Because I'm still humble to a degree.
Learning,
you know, I might be cocky at times, but like
haters will say.
yeah, but that's just because, again, like, I'm aware I need that self-confidence to be able to grow what I really want to grow and what we really want to grow. Otherwise, like, if you're like, oh, I don't know, like, you're not going to be able to like really make it big.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was we can definitely talk for like 5 hours.
Bro,
I feel like
literally the entire
today,
day.
yeah,
Like from 9 a.m. to what is it now? Like 12
I don't
p.m.
even 12 a.m.
12
It was
a.m.
like
yeah.
midnight. Yeah.
Just the entire day has been
it
a
was
podcast.
an entire podcast. We just didn't get it on camera, but this was like a small section of that, and you guys are gonna find out a lot more about Paul, like a lot more content, helping you with like the systems, everything that goes into building like a successful personal brand and like having a successful
back-end systems, especially
everything, like because it's so much more than just like posting some videos. And like I said previously at the beginning, like, he's a junior like pillar for what we're building, and I'm really appreciative of all of the help.
Bro, appreciate being here. Yeah.
And yeah, so we're gonna have a lot more podcasts with a lot more people, obviously people in the team for Unlocked. And the goal, to end it with this, the goal is to really provide opportunities for people, for creators to grow, create connections, because we all need connections. We're all aware that if we're just locked inside of our apartments, you know, the ceiling is kind of low. So yeah, we're trying to build this and just grow every single day. And yeah, see you on the next episode.
Thank
you. Let's go.